In the previous lecture, we talked about diversity in organizations. Biographical characteristics are important sources for the diversity. What do we mean by biographical characteristics? There is an easy way to understand this. Have you ever been surveyed by researchers or market research companies using questionnaires? For example, a product or service satisfaction survey. In those questionnaires, besides the questions regarding your attitudes and behavior, there should be one section ask you about your age, gender, educational background, race, grade, or tenure, and so on. Those personal characteristics we call biographical characteristics. They are representative of surface-level diversity. The first important biographical characteristics we want to talk about is age. Flynn, Lee, and Chiva stated that the aging workforce is without a doubt one of the most significant issues facing society today. By 2050, all major areas of the world except Africa will have nearly a quarter or more of their population aged 60 or over. This places pressure on governments, employers, and individuals to find a way to support the elder end of the population, extend working life, and to manage increasing age diversity while maintaining organizational competitiveness and personal well-being. The retirement age continues to increase all over the world, consequently leading to steady increases in age heterogeneity and average age in the workplace. For instance, Germany has decided to raise the retirement age from 65 to 67 years before 2029, while the United Kingdom plans to increase it to 68 and Japan to 70. Given the productivity of some people even in their late 60s, deferring the retirement age to 68 or 70 is a viable option, as more than 65% of the people aged 60 to 65 are part of the labor force in some economies, especially in New Zealand, Sweden, Norway, and Japan. China has one of the earliest retirement ages in the world, the average retirement age being less than 55. It also is one of the fastest aging societies in the world. People aged 65 or above will comprise 21% of China's total population by 2035 and more than 25% by 2046. Making China one of the oldest societies in the world. In the next 30 years, China's elderly population will increase by 193 million and its working age population decrease by 176 million, thanks to the low fertility rate. Therefore, China could consider gradually raising the retirement age to 65. The outline of the 13th Five-Year Plan for Human Resources and Social Security issued in 2017 has suggested to lay out a progressive plan to raise the retirement age during the 13th Five-Year Plan period. These retirement age changes bring more diversity to workforce composition. According to Bisley, Ball, and Vernon, aging demographics are impacting employers around the world, and for many organizations, there are strong business reasons to develop strategies for managing the age profiles of their workplaces. Societal aging is not necessarily bad news for business. Older workers can be a valuable resource for employers in terms of skills, in-house knowledge, and flexibility. Further, as populations age, Businesses are delivering goods and services to an aging market, and older workers can be a valuable resource. While aging demographics can provide opportunities for the business community, there are significant challenges facing employers. For example, balancing the career interests and expectations of older and younger workers will necessitate new approaches to workforce planning, performance management, and team building. As skilled workers become more scarce, employers need to also find ways to make better use of the talents and capabilities of older unemployed people. What effect does age actually have on those individual outcomes that we're concerned about in OB, such as turnover, absenteeism, productivity, and satisfaction? Please read our reference book and find more research papers to explore the answers by yourself later. Now let's talk about another important biographic characteristic, which is gender. Whether women perform as well on jobs as men, research findings show that few, if any, differences between men and women affect job performance. In many countries, the percentage of women in the workforce is increasing. In China, more and more women succeed in their careers. Gender biases and gender discrimination are still serious issues, but there are indications that the situation is improving. China has one of Asia Pacific's highest labor force participation rates for women. However, women's labor force participation has been declining since the 1990s. From 73.2% in 1990 to 60.5% in 2019. In comparison, 75.3% of men participated in the labor force in 2019. Women made up 43.7% of the total labor force in 2019. In 2019, China enacted laws to expand workplace protections for women. These included prohibiting employers from asking women about their marital or family status, and from requiring women to agree not to have children as an employment condition. A fine of 50,000 RMB may be imposed on employers and recruiters whose job ads are gender discriminatory. Other characteristics include race and ethnicity, disabilities, religion, tenure, sexual orientation, and gender identity, and so on. Based on research findings, as a general rule, many biographical differences do not directly affect actual work outcomes. Far more variation occurs within groups sharing biographical characteristics than between them. We talked about individual characteristics such as age, gender, race, ethnicity, and so on. What other basic individual characteristics make people differ from each other? In next lecture, we are moving the focus to another source of diversity, which is ability.